Hey there, welcome to Something About Tabletop. This is your host, Master Blah, and this is going to be a start of a new video series all about running Shadowrun. Now, this is going to be the start of, well, what should be the start of any single time that you're as a GM thinking about how you're going to run Shadowrun. And that is, what's the job? What are they doing? Now, obviously, not every single Shadowrun session, especially in a campaign, will be about a central job. It may be about a complication in someone's life, but ultimately, that's just a kind of job. Now, the types of jobs, these are actually on page 340 in the Shadowrun core rulebook, but I'm actually just going to be pulling from them and just I'm going to go into more detail, at least on my side, not so much reading from the book directly. Okay, so the types of jobs are data steal. Now, data steal is not necessarily literally stealing a data chip, but most of the time it is. It's usually going into corporations and stuff like that to get some data, whatever it may be. But this could also just be getting information. Let this be torturing someone, having to hit someone up to get the information. Maybe the information is at a all you have to do is go there, and the job is meant to be pretty easy, but then something goes wrong. That's a data steal mission. Then there's the assassination or destruction. This is where you're sent to blow something up, kill someone, or kill some people, or kill something, let it not be alive. Maybe there's a crazy radiated sewer crocodile in the sewers, so you have to go kill it. And this can also be multiple people. It's not necessarily an assassination per se. It can just be a murder squad, five, the Shadowrunners kind of thing. Walk into a room, and maybe this whole orc bar needs to die because they're all racist pricks, and someone's paid you to do it, and you're like, yeah, sure, let's kill all of them. The next is extraction or insertion. Extraction or insertion. Basically, all you need to do is get something into a place, put it somewhere where it's needed, or take it out. That's it. This is similar to data steal, but usually you could be instructing or inserting a person. You have been paid to deliver someone to a point, or you have been paid to take someone from a corporation, kind of like corporate headhunters and stuff like that. Or maybe you're inserting a data tap onto some servers so a group of hackers can get inside, and they don't really have the means to do it themselves. That's an extraction or insertion. Misdirection. So this is I wouldn't do this mission too much, but I have done it before. It's when the Shadowrunners are a distraction. They may not know that they're the distraction. They may have just been paid to do the mission, and you can actually put that in as the twist, which I'll talk about later. Now, basically, in a misdirection, they're paid to, wreak havoc. This mission is always a little bit more loud, but it could, have a variety of objectives. Like they could ultimately be trying to steal something, whether it not exist or not. It's up to them, up to you. Sorry, not them. Next is protection. So protection is pretty simple. You're trying to protect something. Let this be a rich client. Maybe you are protecting an entire neighborhood from a gang. That's something that I've done before. Protection is really good at showing the parallel between basically what it's like to be on the other side. This is the time where usually people learn, at least as I guess, especially as hacking, what it's like to be hacked, what it's like to be sniped. This is not fun, and the players will learn this quickly. And I believe that usually this is a very deadly run, because if you're on the other end of a gun, it's gonna hurt. Next is the delivery. So, pretty simple setup. You're just trying to move something from one place to another, deliver it. It could be a live person, it could be something quite large. This is kind of like the protection mission, and kind of like the insertion and extraction mission. Usually, it's all about the journey in the delivery job, not so much the endpoints, which is what the extraction and insertion is all about. Well, with the extraction, it's about the start points. So this is usually where you crack out the driver has a lot of fun. Maybe they're flying, maybe they're going cross-border, cross-country, wherever your setting is. Anyway, so that's pretty much all the types of jobs. Now, there's kind of variations and little things that you can do to spruce them up. And this can be maybe making them a little bit more interesting. Like, say, if they're delivering something, make it an insane person, and they can have a little bit of fun with that. Maybe they are doing a protection job. Make sure the guy that they're protecting is interesting. And this can always kind of spruce up the mission. And also, there is always the sting. This is where the runners are actually doomed to fail from the start. Maybe the Johnson never wanted to pay them, and this is why he was really didn't want to upfront cash when you were negotiating. But boy, was he up for, giving you 20,000 for the job, which was interesting. And this sometimes can be avoided, and this can kind of step on your plans if they do really good data search checks and stuff like that on Johnson beforehand. And the sting's a sting, and you just got sting, Mr. GM. But I mean, you can always railroad them and just say, no, you kind of don't find the info on this guy because it's so underground. I mean, I've kind of done that before. Anyway, next, I guess you got to think about is who they are. Are they a ganger? Are they a corporation? Are they other Shadowrunners? And this can really change the feel for the mission. Because I can tell you right now, one way to make Shadowrunners really know how powerful they are is to send them against other Shadowrunners. Boy, is that shit nasty. Because Shadowrunners are nasty compared to normal cops and stuff like that. And also, also kind of think of a cool place to set this as well. This is all about sprucing it up. Who are they against? Are they going somewhere cool? All that kind of stuff. And finally, of course, is why do they need to do this job? Now, this doesn't necessarily always need to be there a part of the step, but I like to do this. It's kind of a simulationist thing where you think of like, why are they doing this job? What does the Johnson want to do? What is he trying to achieve? Because this might actually spur a bit of a campaign. I've kind of done this before where there's Shadowrunners between two gangs. They're actually working for both gangs, but the two gangs don't know it. And this can be something pretty cool to play off of, and can turn into a campaign. Also, I talked about the sting before, and this is a part of a twist. I usually like to put a twist in my jobs. Quite recently, a job that I did on my channel, where it was a complication. So a twist can come in forms of a sting, a complication, or similarly misinformation. So misinformation is when they weren't told the whole story. When they were told, you need to go assassinate this guy, full stop. They don't learn much more about him, there isn't much to be known about him. And then they go find him, and they find out the guy's a powerful mage. Shit, that changes things. Next one is, of course, the complication. This could be something I ran in my most recent job, where they had to go to a place, steal something, and that was it. They couldn't kill the main guy that they were stealing the information from, or really weren't really allowed to kill anyone else. But there was a suicide bomber there that was going to bomb the place. Luckily, they found out before he blew the place up. And then finally, should there be a time limit? I like to enforce at least time limits to the date. The date is already there. Now, if it doesn't make sense for your mission not to have a time limit, try to limit them in some way. Because if you give runners infinite time, at least in my experience, they make infinitely complex, silly plans. So watch out for that. Anyway, this is something about tabletop. Thank you for watching. Signing out.